Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Smiling Grammy Unicorn of Doom.
Nice.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Joe.
I'm Marquez.
So, welcome back. We took a week off. We just weren't feeling it, and by we I mean me. I just wasn't feeling it. But we are back, and it is almost the end of the semester, everybody.
Yeah.
This is stupid.
I know.
I hate that.
We-
It always feels so short.
We have on this show 2 or 3 more episodes of this.
Really?
2 or 3?
Yeah, we have this episode. I'm not counting that one.
Mm-hmm.
18th, 25th, then possibly the 2nd, and then I think we're done. I think the exams will be the 9th, which would be the next Thursday.
We're not going to be here for the 25th. 25th is Thanksgiving
We have
break.
one more episode.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, okay, so...
Well, then we'll do next semester, so I'm not too worried about that.
Well, no.
We'll have to figure that out. I'm a little nervous about how that schedule is going to work out because special news, everybody, important news. I got a job. Yay!
You got a job?
Last night I was officially accepted as a substitute teacher in the school district, in the Greenwood School District. So next semester, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Nice.
So that's why we're going to have to figure out the scheduling. But
Strud with Thomas once every month.
seriously, but we'll figure it out. We every semester I always get worried that we're not going to get a good time slot, and we always work it out. So I'm not worried. But even if it has to be at night and we do it every other week, we'll do something. So what we're talking about today, everybody, is Netflix's new show, Arcane. So I just sort of was thinking, this is pretty much the first show we've all watched
Together,
ever.
Yeah.
I think ever. I mean, maybe like SpongeBob, but like that doesn't
I
count.
don't even think we've watched like an episode of it.
Well,
Like,
not together.
Not together.
Oh, sure.
But this is the first show we've ever watched together, and boy, do we have some things to say about it.
I suppose we do.
Beautiful.
When was it announced? Because I vaguely remember you mentioning something about a League of Legends show. Because if you don't know, Arcane is written using the characters of the video game League of Legends.
Which we talked about, I think, once freshman year?
Yes, we did. And everybody loved that episode. Everybody totally understood what was going on.
Nice.
I didn't get multiple messages saying what.
There was no eyebrows
I mean,
raised.
to be fair, it is, I believe, the most popular game in the world, like the most consistently played. Like I would say,
Sure.
Minecraft is the highest selling, but it's very well known.
If you play video games.
If you play video games, of course. It was announced a month or 2 ago, maybe. I don't think we knew a lot about it for a while, but we started getting teasers and stuff for it a few weeks ago, and it came out last Saturday. So it's 4 chapters, and we had the first chapter last Saturday, and then every following Saturday. So this one will be next chapter, and then up till, I guess, the 11th, maybe? No.
I thought it was
4th?
9. What?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out dates, but it doesn't really matter.
Oh, yeah, who cares? But,
yeah.
So, that's the thing I'm going to ask about was these 3 chapters a completely self-contained story, and the next 3 are going to be a completely different story?
No.
And they're
No.
going to merge later, or is it all going to be...
It's like a
No,
continuation.
It's so we actually got a teaser that I'll show you later.
I should have watched that before. But the next 3 episodes will have Vi and
Yes,
Powder in it at some point.
Yes, they are older. I don't think like current age, but they're still older. They're like young adults now, I think, or maybe like late teens.
Okay. Well, we should probably... Well, before we get into that, let's go... Let's go episode by episode.
Be aware, if you have the intention of watching the
Yeah.
hit series Arcane by Riot Riot Studios, don't listen in because we will be discussing
Spoiler
the
warning.
events. I mean, it's only the first 3 episodes, but it's still like spoilers. For
I
the
will
first 3
definitely
episodes.
say, especially for episode 3,
Yeah.
there's going to be some spoilers. So for the episode 1 started with our sort of main characters. How did it start? What was the opening sequence?
The opening sequence was
it
like on the
them
bridge.
robbing the...
No,
The very beginning was the history where they both walked in on the whole fight, and Vander went and saved them. That was how it started.
Yes.
So a bit of a preface. So this whole show takes place in I guess 2 cities, but it's kind of like a combo city called Piltover and Zon. It's very economically disparaging. Like Piltover is this super technologically advanced city, and it's like progress, and everyone in there is rich. Have you seen like photos of, I can't think, is it Dubai? Where there's like literally like a wall where there's like super rich on one side and like shacks on the other. It's
You mean
basically
Ba
like
Sing
that.
Se? Yeah, I got you.
Ah, yes, crossing our references for even more confusion. And then Zon is
Literally
like,
the underground.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's below Piltover, and it's like the scary, sketchy,
yeah,
slimy, goopy
It's got all
place.
kinds of noxious gases and criminals and all that kind of stuff. So it starts with the main characters Vi and Powder, and
their friends.
Their friends
It was
Clagger and Milo.
and Milo. Okay,
Yeah.
It shows how important they are.
No, I mean they're
important.
relatively
I
important.
enjoyed watching them, though. I will say that.
Yeah, it's a solid dynamic. Vi being the oldest and sort of the de facto leader of this group. They're all kids. I think Vi is probably the oldest, and she's maybe like 15.
Mm-hmm.
And then her sister Powder, who's the youngest, who's I don't know. 9.
I'll say like 9 or 10.
She's much less competent and very
Literally everything.
Well, she tries her best.
We'll get to it.
You're-
We'll get to that.
yeah.
I'm a sympathizer. Okay.
No, I understand, and that was one of the things that basically one of the main dynamics was that Vi is this fighter and this leader, and her sister can't really fight, is very, very clumsy, tries to make little weapons and gadgets, and none of them work.
But she's very reliant on them. So because they're from this place and they're very poor and desperate, they plan a heist basically to break into this penthouse and steal whatever they can get and then sell it. And you don't know this at the time, but they're actually breaking into the house of a different character who's There's a sort of,
I don't intend to talk too much about Jace's storyline because it's setting up for something, but I don't think it's particularly interesting. At least to talk about, at least compared to the other one.
compare. Yeah.
I'm sure it's setting up for something, but
Yeah, it'll be probably relevant later. I'm trying to like go back and forth.
we don't
I
have to do
wanna
a full
Yeah, I don't want to just
step
list
by
out
step.
every
But
single thing
basically,
that
the heist goes wrong. These little Jinx or Powder drops this little like crystal,
They're like
blue
mana
crystal on the
crystals.
ground, and it literally nukes the entire building.
Yeah.
And then now the police are after them, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the police go. This might be episode 2 now, but the police go down to Zon, down to the scary, sketchy place, and they're like, "Listen, if we can't find these guys, or I know you're hiding them, because Xander's like the." Is it Xander?
Vander.
Vander's the leader of this little place. I think de facto.
Yeah,
leader. I don't
he's
think
not like a voted leader or anything, but people like him. He runs a bar. Vander's the sort of step parent of this group of kids that do this heist, and also runs a lot of the bar, and people trust him a lot.
So when the police go down there, like, "Hey, we know it was your kids. Are you going to give them up?" And he's like, "No." And they're like, "Well, if you don't, we're going to come and kill you all, or whatever, start another war, or whatever."
Yeah.
So
So
he says, "No."
a lot of the first episodes are about what you're willing to sacrifice to avoid having like a war, like a big conflict. Because a lot of the other people are saying like, "Oh, we got to go to war. We got to fight the people from Piltover. You know, we got to take them all down." But Vander's like, "We've done this war before. Everybody loses. Everybody dies. If we didn't do this, like, more people would be here. We have more chance to prosper. Like, there's other ways around it, but it doesn't end up working out super well for basically anybody anyway." So
Yeah.
Right. Well, so we'll go back and we'll talk about episode 3. Episode 2. Episode 1 and 2 are very, very molded together to me, and episode 3 is very, very distinct to me.
Well, episode 1 and 2 was just like more so just introducing
It's
the
set up,
storyline.
but I enjoyed it, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about our thoughts about it. Because that's my problem. Every time I watch a Netflix original show, typically I'm very bored in the beginning, and then it picks up.
yeah,
This show was very much not the case. I was in. I'll say halfway through the first episode, I was kind of in. So we can go through the casters. I know you had an issue with. I don't know his name.
the male cop
Marcus.
Marcus, yes.
So there are a few characters stuck out to me, a few actors. All of them were pretty solid. I know you didn't like the actor for Marcus. I didn't really have that big of an issue with him. However, I might later on because it seems like he's going to be in it a lot more now.
Yeah, it depends.
What What didn't you like about him?
It wasn't.
whiny.
Yeah, he was whiny and obnoxious, and I think because he was supposed to be a whiny, obnoxious, and kind of irrational character.
Yeah.
But I think he just sort of overdid it. It feels a bit cartoony.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it has a 9.4 out of 10 on IMDb and 98% positive on Google reviews.
No, I'm
crazy.
Is Rotten Tomato do TV shows or just movies?
I don't know.
Because they're typically very, very tough on everything.
Yeah, I had no idea though.
Interesting, but so some of the characters that stuck out to me, Maya Sinclair Jennis, who plays Powder. I'd imagine she's going to play Powder the rest of the time because I think that voice, it doesn't in IMDb it sort of specifies young, this character and whatever, whereas for Powder and Vi it does not. So I'm assuming they're going to have the same actors.
Well, when I looked up Arcane cast, it says Ella Purnell as Powder. So I don't know.
I'm on IMDb, but I don't.
Weird.
Ella Purnell.
Ella Purnell.
We've got a mystery on our hands. I don't see that person on here.
Weird.
Lenny Cilantro. Oh,
Lenny Cilantro?
Lenny.
That's a fake name.
Lenny
That guy made
Citrano.
that up. Okay.
Man, that'd be cool. Okay. Whoever plays Powder, I was impressed with, especially in episode 3. She was yelling and screaming a lot, and I was very, very. I was in it.
You could feel the emotion.
Haley Steinfeld is the only actress, that I recognize from this entire list. She, to my knowledge, was a Disney actress. She's been in a lot of. I think she was in Marvel movies. I think she was like Hawkeye's daughter or something.
I'm gonna peep.
Got a peep.
Not as tall as me.
She was on Bumblebee. Let's go. She was in Pitch Perfect. That's where I've seen her from. She's in Arcane. She plays Vi, by the way. The main. I would argue Vi is the main character, but that'll probably change. Between Two Ferns. Oh, and she played Gwen Stacy in the Into the Spider-Verse.
Really?
And she's the main character, Bumblebee.
So I like her. I like her already.
Interesting.
Because I like Gwen.
So who was the one that we liked? We liked Shara. Ooh, that's a hard name. Shara Agdashlu.
Agdashlu. Sure, that's good. That was better. She is such a cool voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have never heard of her, but I feel like I've heard the voice before. You know, let's see what she's been in. She's been in.
She's Iranian.
She's been in Star Trek, The Expanse. I've never seen, but I've heard good things about. She's in Mass Effect.
Interesting. So, for reference,
she's in The Lion King.
This woman played the cop who was trying to negotiate, and she has just a very good,
very deep,
confident,
voice.
Deep, old woman voice. You can tell she's very hardened.
I think that's probably her voice.
Yeah, no.
I don't think she would specifically try to make that voice, you know?
Yeah. I definitely think it's one of those things where the voice portrays the character very, very.
She's been in every big thing you can think of. She's been minor roles in Law and Order, House, NCIS, that kind of thing.
Nice.
Plenty.
The Stoning.
Not Stoning.
Oh, that is. Grey's Anatomy, of course. Everybody's in Grey's Anatomy. X-Men. Okay, cool. But I was just heavily impressed by this cast. I thought at no point was I really taken out of the thing, except for I didn't love the accent, Victor's accent. It was a little too cartoony for me. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing with accents is I guess you can always go a little too far.
Well, I think also it's one of those things where because they're coming from a source, they want to make it similar. And his voice in the game is exaggerated way more.
Really?
He's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Victor." He's the rise of the robot revolution. That's what it sounds like. It's very silly, but
so he's trying. Okay, I get that. I it didn't take me out to where I was like, "Oh my god." Upon reflection, the Jace Victor Heimerdinger whatever storyline wasn't particularly interesting to me. I liked the council scenes where the voting. I thought that was really cool just to see how that world is built. I thought that robot character on the council was super awesome. I don't know why his voice was just super cool to me.
That's what I said. I think he's a very neat looking character.
Yeah, and I think and he said something about his race was almost wiped out by magic. So I'd be curious, one, if that could be transferred into the game, or two, if we're going to see more of that. I doubt it. It just seems like a throwaway lore thing to me, but
Well, we can talk about it very briefly just to have an explanation. Basically, there's a character named Jace, and Piltover is all about technological innovation, but there's magic in this universe.
Technological innovation.
Yes.
Yes.
And Jace is sort of trying to find a way to technologically harness magic, which is what caused the explosion because they were robbing his workshop, basically. And it's technically illegal, so he got expelled from his university or whatever for trying to do it, but he and another character start working on it in private. And there's lots of contention. Victor. There's lots of contention because people talk about like magic and the Arcane, is where the title comes from. Is
roll credits.
It's taboo and dangerous and unwieldy.
We feel what we do not understand.
Like I'm pretty sure,
Like
like in the
fidget
show,
spinners.
they refer
I do
to
not understand.
like
Or
mages
women.
as like mongrels.
As Mongols. No.
Not
No,
mongrels
I mean-
as mongrels.
Shout out to Mongol.
Shut up. Warmongers, something like that.
yeah.
Well, it's a past thing. I don't think I would be curious to see how far they take that, at least in the historical explanation. A lot of it seems that's the one. It's not an issue, but the story isn't until episode 3 isn't particularly new. I don't think the idea of like, oh, he's doing a thing that they don't understand, and like the thing we were talking about was like they said, all right, don't. The plot points were like, okay, well, don't tell the council that you're working on magic. And then he's like, but I have to, and did, and I was like, okay, cool,
Yeah.
he's going to do that.
yeah.
Not to say it's poorly written, but to say I can see where a lot of the story is coming from. Until episode 3.
Well,
I was not expecting that at all.
Well,
Let's talk about that, but
I want to make a brief note. I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to use a trope and then subvert it, because they did that a couple times. Because the first time they did it, and I was really disliking it at first, was they have like a character listens into a conversation, hears something they don't
Yes.
like, and runs away before it's actually explained properly.
yeah.
But that didn't actually really have any consequences.
no, it didn't, which is
weird.
I don't, and I'm not one. That's how life works too. It's not like every single thing. Some things just you drop it.
Yeah.
She got really mad. You understand how all the characters feel about her, and that Vi is annoyed with her, but still cares about her.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, well, you're sad, and I'm gonna take you out to this place that was really important to me as a child. And then was that explained? Did Powder ever get the bunny? Is that what happened?
I think she got the money.
She has somehow grabbed it, and then that was like a big thing because when she fell off the thing, it like fell with her. How did she get that? Was that explained?
No, that
I
was
don't
in-
know.
Because she had. Because I'm right.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she had the bunny with her.
Yes. I don't know how exactly that happened, but
Well, regardless, we can talk about episode 3 now.
We can.
So episode 3, went a direction I was so not expecting but loved. It was so brutal.
yeah.
So basically, they're going after this villain, and we'll talk about that villain later. They're going after him, and Vi is not. The villain captures Vander. So Vi and her friends, without Powder, go to get him. They're like, Powder, you're just going to mess it up. Don't come with us. Well, of course, Powder's like, oh, I gotta come. I gotta be there.
I have a means to
gotta
help
Yes,
prove
I can
myself.
help now because her little toys that she's been making, these little like,
They're little like time bombs, basically.
basically walking time bombs.
Yeah.
What are they called? Twist toys or spin toys or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
She has one, and she has the little blue crystal that she found earlier that she knows it blows stuff up.
Which I would like to say, Vi told her to keep them. I feel like
No, I'm not. I'm not like.
I know.
Because like I would accept no powder slander here, good sir.
She is a child and she is innocent. She knows not.
No,
right
and
from
that's the
wrong.
sad part. And we'll get into that in a second. But so she's like, all right, I'm gonna go after them because I can help. I know how to help because I have this bomb. So she goes in, throws the bomb in to save her because they're getting attacked by this big monster thing. Blows up the monster, and also blows up every single one of her friends. So she blows up this bomb, and it kills Milo he gets like impaled with this piece of rebar or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Claggor gets crushed by
Claggor
rocks.
gets crushed by the rocks that fall
The
from the
ceiling
ceiling.
falls in.
I'm pretty sure they both got crushed by the rocks.
Well, yeah, I mean, but Milo got stabbed first.
Yeah.
He still gets crushed anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
And then Vi and Vander they get crushed, but they don't die.
Yeah.
And then, oh my god! And then then the fighting continues, and Vander dies. We think, or at least it's shown that he dies.
Yeah, he's shown having.
And we'll talk about that theory.
Fallen,
I have a theory of my own, but
Okay.
and that it's Twitch. No, he's gonna be Ramus.
Oh, hello.
I was hiding.
Here's a smell that one I saw.
So, Vander's dead. Jinx. Vi is like crying and like, oh my god, this. And then Jinx runs up. She's like, oh, or Powder runs up and is like, oh my god, I did it. Do you see my bomb worked?
And Vi, yeah,
and she doesn't, because she doesn't know that she literally killed everybody or all of her friends and none of the bad guys.
Yeah.
And then they start yelling at each other. I don't think me verbally explaining what happened is a good.
No,
Because it's a very emotionally tense scene, but
Right.
Basically, Vi kind of snaps and says like,
And punches her.
yeah, punches her and basically just says like, you actually messed up this time. Like, she was trying to control herself, so she walks off and kind of just gives herself a moment of peace. But in that time where she separates, the villain basically comes up and, for lack of a better word, basically grooms Powder into saying like, hey, you know, you're not going to be useless anymore if you
Come
work
with
with us. We're going to make
And
you...
then she's about to save her, and then the annoying cop that we were talking about grabs her and is like, no, don't do it, they'll kill you.
Yeah.
And then chloroforms her or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the first chapter ends.
So, and that's the sad part, is that she was like, oh my god, she's a kid. She's like, I did it. And she's like, no, you literally killed everybody.
You killed everybody.
And she sees that she killed everybody because she sees Claggor's glasses on the ground. There's blood on them, and then that kind of thing. And then Vi wasn't just leaving her. She was going to come back, and then the cop was like, you?
Yeah.
The cop was just like, no, you're not.
Well, because he was trying to say that the villain people would just kill her on the spot. Although I think it's also going to have a bit of a transition with how Vi changes in character, but
Yeah, just because we won't harp too much on it, but in League of Legends lore, she's like a cop.
yeah,
So she gets kidnapped by the cop. I'll say kidnapped. She gets kidnapped by the cops. So we know that she's probably going to end up being like, that's how that happens.
Yeah.
And then we'll see them grow apart. I'm interested to see if we will get a reunion in this season. I would be disappointed if we did, in the sense that I feel like that's something that you, as a writer, need to earn through like time. That's one thing that you really don't want to rush. But I could also see why they would do that. But it's such a short series to me, and I also understand that they're not them getting another season is one very difficult, and two obviously not planned. So
I think that if they hadn't, I think this is meant to be a contained story. I think by the end of chapter 4, the story is supposed to be done. I think if they got another season, I think it would be a season of a different thing, like a different plot.
Okay.
And
we don't know that, but
I don't know that, but I'm almost certain that they will have a reunion in conflict within potentially even the next chapter, but definitely by the third or fourth.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's not something I want to rush, especially considering how sad episode 3 was. I would want it to be like, give it as much time as the writers think it needs.
Yes.
I don't love that idea. I understand why, but I don't love the idea of just like, all right, we're going to switch between different characters. I kind of like the idea that we're seeing this world and the other worlds, like them going to Freylord or Shurima or wherever, through the lens of these people we've seen before, but I understand why that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it depends a lot.
Because that runs the risk of, all right, I know I like watching Vi and Powder. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm going to like the characters they choose for a next season, like the new character, because I don't really care about Jace right now. He's kind of boring.
Yeah,
I think we all agree he's just okay. He's there. He's fine, but he's boring.
He's meant to push a plot forward.
Yeah.
So I'd be scared to have another different characters because it could also just work out not well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's Netflix. I won't say Netflix has some missteps, but typically the quality of a show, at least in the sense of how it looks, is going to be fine. Which, that being said, the show looks amazing.
Yes. Ourselves very...
And I'm not much of a cartoon person. I don't really watch a lot of cartoons, but...
Yeah, for those who haven't seen it, it's 3D animated. Very, very high quality 3D animation, but it is an animated series.
It's really pretty.
So we're gonna listen to one song, and then we'll be back. I want to talk about
Did you burp or did you click your tongue?
I clicked my throat.
That's horrifying. Don't stop.
Stop.
Cease.
Could you guys do that noise that you guys did earlier? That
you think that's what should be on the air?
You have no idea how much I think it should be.
You asked for it.
I'm not in...
I can do lots of things.
On air.
Hey, yo, start the music.
We'll be back in a few minutes, guys. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Smiling Man.
My butt hurts. I worked out my legs a lot yesterday.
You could have let that off like a little bit better.
No, cold open. My booty be hurting this.
Well, you literally said before we went to break, you were like, I can do a lot of things.
You asked me to make a weird noise on air, so what are we talking about now?
Well, we were talking about Arcane, and we still are going to... I have one thing vaguely League of Legends related that I think is funny I'll read at the end, just as a treat. Special treat. Special treat after your butt hurts. But
I like
a reward
treats.
even. What?
I like treats. I like rewards.
All right.
I like treats.
Give me my treat.
Oh, see it? We were going to mention something. Oh, Marquez, I want you. Who do you think? Where do you think? Because Joe and I were discussing Vander is like the giant thing that has the virus or liquid or serum or whatever. Joe thinks that he might be Warwick, which is the League of Legends character. I don't. What do you think, Marquez?
I agree with Joe that
okay. Well, you're off.
That Vander is
you're done. You're done.
Because
no, okay.
Because like isn't like in lore wise doesn't like Vi and Jinx have like connection to Warwick?
I think a bit of preface is important for the audience. So the villain, whose name is Silco, who we have not mentioned. I mean, I suppose you can call him a villain or not a villain, but he's generally a villain. He was originally friends with Vander back in the day, but he's under the impression that the solution to Zaun's economic problems is that he should basically create like powerful mutant beast people to scare Piltover into leaving them alone and not sending police and not doing anything like that, just letting them do their thing. And that,
which I have issues with too, because like how does that work? Like because the Vi and Powder and all them brought the police down there.
Yeah.
Does he want to prevent that, or does he just want to completely?
No. He wanted to show an example, which is why he was talking to Marcus, because he wanted to present it like, oh, we have this power now, so like you should respect us and go about your business.
Okay.
Yeah. He basically says like, okay, so we have beasts down here, so the Pillar people aren't going to come down here. They're scared to be here, and they're scared to mess with us, and they're scared to do all that.
Okay.
So, that's and maybe to eventually have war, but I don't know if that's a part of his like short-term plan.
Yeah, we don't know that yet. But...
Yeah. So there are several characters in the game that are beast people. The one that Thomas was talking about, Warwick, is a wolf, like werewolf kind of character, and Silco and his assistant Singed transform a lot of people into these beasts. So there's theorizations about if characters in the show get turned into the beasts from the game.
Right. Which still could be Twitch. We don't know yet.
Could be Twitch.
Well, actually, Joe, I told you what would happen if I reached the end of episode 3 and there wasn't Ramus or Twitch.
I know.
Live on air.
I know when we were watching it by ourselves, Joe also said that the blonde haired dude named Decker, he also thought he might have been Mundo.
Yeah.
See, I thought the opposite. I thought Decker
Would have ended up
was
being
going to
Warwick.
be Warwick and
Vander would be Mundo.
Vander would be Mundo, but I don't know if that makes sense because wasn't Mundo his own like person before getting transformed? Like he wasn't just like a.
That's what I thought too, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. And Mundo's lore is weird, and he's very silly. So
Well, they're
I don't
also
know if they're
redoing him, or did they?
Well,
already
they redid him, but he's still silly. So I don't know if they're gonna want like a silly, goofy character to be.
Because it's a fairly
Arcane
dark
thing.
show, or at least
Yeah,
in
yeah.
tone wise.
Well, and like
It's
if
very few like things that. It's not a funny show. It's
No.
not. It's not a kid show because I didn't laugh once.
it's not 0 out of 10 bad show. Didn't laugh once.
Not funny. No,
No,
funnies
not at all.
included.
It's an action drama, I guess.
But okay, so my theory with Vander
Vander.
is that he's dead.
That's a good theory.
That's
I-
what
a lot of evidence to support that.
because I feel like that would feel forced. Because if he turns into this werewolf thing, if Vander is to come back, he has to interact with Vi and Powder in some sort of meaningful way besides just, oh, he's now the wolf and then they kill him. It would be like, oh, he's now the wolf, but we know it's him and then we have to transform him back. And I don't see that happening with the way that went. I think he's just dead. Because I feel like if you're going to have Vander do that, unless you're just using like the dead body of Vander, which I guess is a plot point too, but like if you have Vander be this villain now, like this mindless villain, they have to meet in a meaningful way, and I don't see Warwick being a medium or vessel through which they do that. Personally, and also the show I don't think is not above, but like it won't shy away from just having characters that are going to die and not have any real point in League lore. Like, not every single character has to be a
Important,
character from lore. And I'm fine with that. I think that having new characters
Shut up,
would be...
Dad. I said theorizations, and my dad said the word we're looking for is theories. Didn't ask. Stop texting me.
Not funny, didn't laugh. 0 out of 10. Get better material.
No,
Pick
and
a
I
child
think
out
I
of
think also characters dying without a point is also sort of a part of the meaning. Talking about like,
Well, I don't
if
think
you
he
die
died
for
without a
something.
meeting.
Yeah.
That's why I think he ended fine. Because I think that was the ending that Vander needed, or what's going to have, is dying protecting his daughters, and then eventually that's the sadder part too, is he kind of died for nothing because they tore themselves apart.
yeah,
But again, of course, I'm not sure. I'm going to reserve any real theorizations.
Ooh, I like that.
exactly.
I'm not
A very intelligent bird, Mr. Histon.
yes,
I
sir,
sure hope
Mr.
your
Cadell.
father's proud of you.
It'll take more than that, Mr. Cadell. No, I'm kidding. But I don't know. We're gonna see. I'm not one of those people. I when I used to watch Game of Thrones, we would do this, and I didn't particularly like it. Is try to pick it apart and figure the plot out before it happens. Mm-hmm. It's fun to talk about, and I'm excited for Saturday when it comes out, when the new episodes come out. But I'm going to let it be. I'm not going to search for spoilers. I'm not going to, because dear God, they're so easy to come by now. I don't know why. It's just like everything is a spoiler now. Like every plot point of the new Batman movie and every plot point of the new Spider-Man movie is released.
I'm not looking at it.
And I'm not either
Well,
because I'm scared.
Since you mentioned it, do you want me to mention what we've seen in the teaser?
I haven't seen the teaser.
Yeah, I didn't show it to you.
No, just because we want to watch it.
Okay.
And I think what we can do is since we're watching the show not together, but like we're watching it at the same time at least. I'm not going to like wait to watch the episodes with you guys,
But you good.
unless that is something that is easily.
I mean, yeah, I'm
Available.
free on Saturday, so
I am free Saturday actually, but
there you go. There you
well,
go.
if that's it's not an option every single
There
week.
you go.
We could get on Discord and do it. Anyways. I forgot this was my screensaver. No, but we'll see, and we'll watch the trailer, and then I think at the end of whenever the show's done, we can do a final recap. But right now, I will say that I'm super excited and curious to see more, and I didn't think I would. I honestly thought this would be sort of a throwaway show about characters I never played, never cared about,
Yeah.
and I'm pleasantly surprised.
Well, I think one of the things that Arcane did the best is they made it very accessible to people who don't know anything about the game.
Right.
The only benefit you get from playing the game is being able to say, "Oh, hey, I know that character."
Yes.
That's it. Like, you don't need it for anything.
And you might be able to see where stuff's going. That's
yes. But
Which could be a disservice too. But
yeah, I suppose. It's very self-contained. It's very narratively cohesive. It doesn't need anything else. I mean, there's a bit of... I think everything that's like a term that you would know from the game, it explains. Like, because there's Hextech, which is the stuff that Jace is trying to use to make technological magic.
yeah.
I'm
I'm not trying to cut you off, but we do wrap up a little bit because I have one thing to say. But
of course,
is that the only thing it only adds to the lore of the game, I think, because now we know where Hextech comes from, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We don't know why it's as popular as it is or what it really is, but we'll figure that out, I'm sure. So it doesn't. It only adds to the game, I think, so far. But we will see.
yeah.
Now, before we go, I have something vaguely league related. I was trying to figure out a way to incorporate it into our show seamlessly, like through something, but I couldn't figure it out. So I'm just going to read it to you guys.
All right.
This is from Reddit. This is the Reddit like title, I guess, of the post was, "I had a fight with my wife. Didn't find out what was wrong until I checked the security cameras." I want to point out this is vaguely related to League of Legends.
Okay.
Vaguely, okay.
Hey, people of Reddit. New account here because I didn't want my wife to see this. Great way to start.
Very great.
Basically, I am writing this because we recently had a fight. The biggest one our marriage has ever seen. I was just waking up when my wife was going to sleep. I was just waking up after my wife was going to sleep after she played video games all night, which has become the norm. It all started when I heard her smashing down the hallway from our living room. This scared me a little bit, but to be honest, it wasn't all bad, because I take a very heavy tranquilizer to be able to sleep through her shouting while playing games.
Jeez.
As I was saying...
I guess that's a compromise.
The smash... As an RA, that is not the compromise.
No, it's not at all.
As I was saying, the smashing wasn't too bad because it actually woke me up and I was going to be late for work. I woke him up through his tranquilizer. The problem started when she banged a piece off of our bedroom door because she slammed it open. She's the Hulk.
Yeah, that's insane amounts of game rage.
She huffed down onto the bed. I asked her, "What's up?" And she said, "Shut the F up and go to work."
I don't think that's a fight. I think you need to leave.
I was very taken aback by this and just got up and got ready for work. It wasn't until I walked into the computer room that I figured out why she was so upset. There was a putrid smell coming from the room, and after looking, I realized that there was throw up all over the keyboard. I was concerned, of course, because I thought she was sick or something. I hurried back into the bedroom and asked her, "This is the climax of the fight, by the way." I'm glad for warning us.
Yeah.
In a worried tone, "Are you okay?" Her response was she told me to F off. In quotes, "Sorry for the language." It's okay, Reddit user. I bleeped it out.
Very, very responsible.
Shut the...
Quiet on the set.
I was worried she was sick, but I didn't want to keep pushing her. I made my way to work as usual, and on my way I remembered I have some security cameras in our computer room because I used to watch my dog when no one was home. On my lunch break, I loaded up the app and found the moment it happened. And to be honest with you, I was shocked. My wife, who seemed to be losing a League of Legends match, started screaming at the top of her lungs and just kept screaming. So hard that she literally threw up all over the desk. This is my favorite line. God bless the tranquilizers because I didn't hear any of this.
See, it's a compromise. It worked out.
After this, she started pulling out her hair, punched her computer, and then slammed into the bedroom, as I mentioned earlier. I'm in disbelief, honestly. I didn't realize her gaming problem was this bad. She always told me her long nights of gaming were due to her fear of the sun.
This can't be real. This has got to be made up.
I believed her.
Is she a vampire?
I believed her on that. And I didn't know she played until she got so angry that she would get physically sick from it. This is where I come to you for advice. Where can I possibly go from here? So Marquez, I want your honest advice.
Just pull the plug.
Kill her?
No. I'm talking about the computer. Like, hey, listen. If you cannot contain, if your rage leads to you being physically ill,
Just start throwing up.
I can sympathize with this because
You've never once gotten to see where you started screaming until you threw up.
Not till I threw up, but I almost passed out because I got so mad. But
I guess
Yeah,
this is a
Marquez
different.
is not the ideal person to
I was gonna
talk
say
to.
this is a different perspective
no.
because I have a very clear
but
solution to this.
The solution
divorce. Get your divorce lawyer.
or that, yeah. I was gonna say like, hey, just stop her from playing. Like, if she cannot play in a healthy manner, she shouldn't play the game at all. Play a different game. Do something
and
different.
there are games that you can play that don't make you that angry.
Yeah.
You do not have to play this game.
Play Dark Souls.
Or, well,
Play Animal Crossing.
play Animal Crossing on your Nintendo Wii U.
Nope.
Grow some flowers. Create a cute
I made a
little village.
boat. Joe, what you thinking?
Let me try to boat.
Oh, about the marriage?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I don't think that's real. It could be, but I don't
Just
know.
for funsies.
Just for funsies.
Just
assuming
for
that it is real.
funsies, let's say it's real.
Assuming that it is real. If
Just
you're
imagine.
yeah, I mean, if you're really committed, try to get her to go to a therapist because that's like an anger counselor because that's crazy.
Yeah.
Of course, if that is real, then it's what it sounds to me like the reason she's that angry is because she's solely dependent on the video games for happiness. You know,
Maybe. Okay.
like that's her only activity and her only method of enjoying herself. So when it goes poorly and you have other people being mean to you in a game chat or all that kind of stuff, it just might infuriate someone to that point. Although she obviously has other unrelated anger issues that are
Yeah,
related to it, so.
saying like, "Hey, what's wrong?" and then saying what she
Yeah,
said,
that, yeah.
I don't think is a very constructive way to conduct anything.
No, not at all.
I would especially say if like, well, they're married. I was gonna say if she's like if this is a high school relationship, just cut it.
Yeah.
But I'm also of the opinion that if you have any slight inconvenience in a high school relationship, you should just break up. but that's just me. Sure. But we should do an advice column. That's what I meant to. Oh my god, I'm stupid.
Well, that can be the last episode.
This could be the precursor to this episode. I literally saved this because I was like, we should do an advice episode because we are totally qualified to do that.
Oh, yeah.
That is something we're qualified to do.
Yeah.
I love, but he has to take a tranquilizer to sleep.
Yeah.
No,
That's
I
a
only said
no-no.
like therapy and counseling if he's really committed. Divorce, I would say, is the default option, but
The lame option,
no,
the
it's
chat option.
well because telling anyone to get a divorce is very complicated.
No, I understand that, but it can only be so complicated until you're just not in a relationship that needs to continue.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure if a relationship that is conducted in this way is something that is worth continuing.
But
Totally.
you know what is the safest route?
Pull the plug.
yeah, just turn the breaker off to that room.
Getting a 22 and plug right in the ear. Scramble the brains.
What?
He's saying shooter. He just said shooter in the head.
That is. This has been Thrud. I hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the Smiling Grim Unicorn of Doom. We will be back next week for possibly our final episode this semester.
With the 22.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Dr. Scrambler Ear.
Dr. Egg Scramblicus.
Thank you guys for listening. Stay awesome. Peace.